Don't let YouTube decide what information you get. That's your choice. YouTube is deleting our videos and cuts you off from a source of honest reporting. Make sure you don't lose access to NTD's news content, and take a quick moment to subscribe to our newsletter so no matter what happens here, you'll keep your access to a trustworthy news source.
And $3 million a day. That's how much it's costing not to build the border wall. A new Senate report says Biden's attempts to end wall construction have cost taxpayers well over $1 billion since he took office. NTD's Kevin Hogan has more on that and a surge of migrants attempting to cross into Texas's busiest border sector.
Senate Republicans authored a new report that estimates President Biden has spent at least $1.8 billion on his efforts to end border wall construction. The report cites records from the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, as well as estimates from the Pentagon and court filings. The lawmakers determined the suspension of wall construction initially cost $6 million per day, and now it's been reduced to $3 million. That's because Department of Defense contractors carried out layoffs. The report notes that Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, has encountered over 1 million migrants along the southern border this year, which is a 20-year high. The report combines this with the administration's paying contractors millions per day to guard steel, concrete, and other materials in the desert to support their claim, which is, this policy decision raises significant concerns about the Biden administration's immigration agenda and requires both congressional oversight and legislative action. The Biden administration didn't immediately respond to NTD's request for comment. The Biden administration has stated that the U.S. has a duty to secure its borders, but says building a border wall is, quote, not a serious policy solution. Moving to Texas, apprehensions of migrants in Texas's busiest border sector are skyrocketing. Last week alone, Border Patrol caught over 20,000 illegal immigrants in the Rio Grande Valley. Chief Patrol Agent Brian Hastings made the announcement on Twitter Sunday. Hastings said the amount of large groups is increasing. Specifically, he said in La Grulla last week a record-breaking 298 migrants in one group were encountered. What's more, out-of-state troopers are assisting Texas troopers at the border. The states that sent in reinforcements include Nebraska, Iowa, and Florida. They've been helping Texas officers catch human smugglers who are transporting migrants into the U.S. from the border, and they've been helping catch illegal immigrants on foot. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said he sent help after Texas Governor Abbott asked for it. At the end of June, DeSantis sent 50 officers from Highway Patrol and Fish and Wildlife. Those officers patrolled parts of the Rio Grande River in their boats. Kevin Hogan, NTD News.
Foreign correspondents in China trying to cover the flood situation are met with hostility from local residents. Some journalists are even reported to the police. NTD's Tiffany Meyer has the details.
Some residents in central China's Jinzhou City and other flood-hit areas are preventing foreign correspondents from reporting on the floods there. Reporters affected include those from America's CNN and the Associated Press, the UK's BBC, Australia's ABC, and Germany's DW. Local residents accuse foreign media of demonizing China and deliberately discrediting China. Some even asked to check the videos the reporters had taken. German journalist Matthias Bollinger posted a video over the weekend showing people surrounding him. He said he was pushed and shouted at, and someone even tried to snatch his phone. Alice Su from the Los Angeles Times tried to explain the issue to residents for Bollinger. Dake Kang from the Associated Press also tweeted that the exact same thing happened to him at almost the same location, and it was even worse. He got reported to the police. Bollinger said the media environment in China right now is frightening. He added he thought the people on site were there partly due to curiosity and partly plainclothes. And a notice has been circulating on Chinese social media over the weekend, warning residents in Jinzhou not to give interviews to foreign media. The notice also said people must not forward this warning to others via the internet. They can only forward it verbally. And a typhoon is hitting eastern China's coastal region, causing even more flooding. About 2 million people have reportedly been relocated. Typhoon Infa landed twice near Shanghai on Sunday and then on Monday, forcing authorities in the area to cancel all flights and shutter businesses. China's National Weather Service says the typhoon's wind speed was up to 85 miles per hour. Authorities say over 360,000 people in Shanghai were evacuated and over 1.6 million people in nearby Zhejiang province.
Calls are getting louder to cancel Olympic events due to extreme weather warnings. Meanwhile, Team USA suffered a historic loss in basketball. NTD's Arian Pazdar has the story.
16 new games-related virus cases are reported. Total numbers since July 1st now up to almost 150. The Olympic Village looks almost deserted on Monday. Buses can be seen bringing athletes to their events, but no one on the streets. And another risk factor on the horizon, a typhoon heading towards Japan, expected to hit the main island on Wednesday.
I hope the organizers will consider their safety and avoid holding the competitions during dangerous periods of time.
Rowing and archery events have been moved due to the storm. Organizers say there are no plans to reschedule more events at the moment. Now over to Team USA. The Olympics allowed NTD players to be part of the event in 1992. Ever since then, the men won gold in basketball in all of the games except once. This year it doesn't look too good, however. Team USA didn't do well in exhibition games before the Olympics started, and now they've lost their opening game against France 83-76. It was the team's first loss since 2004. The women played the same match, USA against France. In that game, the American ladies managed to defeat the European nation. The US did even better in the water. In the men's 400-meter swimming contest, 2 American swimmers managed to haul in the gold and silver medals respectively. Monday is day 4 of the 2020 Games, with 12 more to go. Arian Pazdar, NTD News.
And President Biden announced today the U.S. will end combat mission in Iraq by the end of the year. It's been more than 18 years since U.S. troops were sent to Iraq in 2003.
President Biden and Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi had their first face-to-face talk on Monday in the Oval Office. It's part of a strategic dialogue between the U.S. and Iraq. They agreed to end U.S. combat missions in Iraq by the end of 2021.
I think things are going well. Our role in Iraq will be as a dealing with it's just to be available, to continue to train, to assist, to help, and to deal with ISIS as it arrives. But we are not going to be by the end of the year in a combat mission.
Right now, there are 2,500 U.S. troops in Iraq working to counter ISIS. Biden did not say how many troops would remain in Iraq when the combat mission is formally completed. The U.S. will shift its role in Iraq entirely to an advisory and training mission by the end of the year. According to a senior Biden administration official, ISIS remains a threat, and there was a bombing in Baghdad just this week, and Iraq will continue to need support in advisory training and capacity building. Earlier this month, Biden said U.S. troops will be out of Afghanistan by August 31st. He's completing U.S. combat missions in the 2 wars that then-President George W. Bush began under his watch.
And President Biden today announced nominations for 8 U.S. attorneys across the country. The Senate needs to confirm these nominees. If passed, they would run offices in D.C., Indiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, New York, and Washington State. The White House says many of these picks are historic firsts, including the first female or black attorneys to lead in some districts. The Justice Department has 93 U.S. attorneys. They supervise federal criminal prosecutions, which is crucial to cracking down on violent crime. U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman had tense meetings with the Chinese foreign minister on Monday, as Beijing accused the United States of creating an imaginary enemy. Sherman reminded CCP officials that people are not bargaining chips.
The State Department spokesperson said Deputy Secretary Sherman and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang had a frank and open discussion about a range of issues. Sherman raised concerns about Beijing's human rights abuses in Hong Kong, Xinjiang, and Tibet. Other concerns include Beijing's conduct in cyberspace, the Taiwan Strait, and the East and South China Seas. Sherman also reminded CCP officials that people are not bargaining chips, while bringing up cases of American and Canadian citizens detained in China or under exit bans. Though the U.S. emphasized that they do not seek conflict with China, the Chinese diplomats accused the U.S. of treating China as an imaginary enemy. adding that the U.S. is unqualified to deal out criticism on human rights issues. Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Xie Feng told Sherman that U.S.-China relations has reached a stalemate and faces serious consequences. He also urged Washington to lift sanctions and abandon the extradition request for Huawei's financial chief. Sherman arrived in the northeastern port city of Tianjin for talks with Xie and Wang on Sunday, a day after Wang said that China would not accept the U.S. taking up superior position in the relationship. Columnist and author Gordon Chang tweeted Monday that China used this meeting with Wendy Sherman like it used the March meeting in Anchorage not to work with the U.S., but to launch a vicious propaganda campaign. The Biden administration clashed with Beijing at their first high-level talks in Alaska in March. Chang believes that it's way past time the Biden administration stopped meeting with Beijing.
Navigating a world of economic madness, you need to have the right guide. What do today's decisions mean for your tomorrow? We ask why. What's the alternative? Uncover the deeper reasons and the hidden influences, and highlight the real opportunities for profit. At NTD Business, we connect the dots for you. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.